And welcome into a jam-packed edition, a Wednesday edition of Philly Voice SportsBets. Harry Mays, Eitan Shander, and Matt Sherrico with you. And we have so much to get to, guys. I have to start the show in my Colin Cowherd voice because we are packed.
Oh, no.
From the weekend. I mean, let's go back. Cowherd. He always says that when he's got a bunch of great guests. We are packed.
I didn't know that guy was still doing stuff.
Oh, yeah. Well, not today, though, because you got double World Cup action on Fox and Fox Sports 1. So he's off today off the TV. But anyway,
win-win. How
about the 4-day weekend that was Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday? Forget about Monday Night Football because that game sucked. But those 4 days were packed with great games. I'm talking about like drama, upsets, individual performances from certain players that were just off the charts. It was great football.
Yeah, look, man, I don't know about you, but there was a lot of money that was made by me, at least, for Monday. Now, we didn't have a show, so that was unfortunate, but you can find all three of us, and that's probably what we should be doing, at least on the way out each show, is like reminding people that we're not just betting on a 15-minute increment 3 days a week. Like, you can find Harry, me, and Matt elsewhere. But Monday, look, man, you're right. And I think what was crazy about it was I didn't know where people were going to go on that game, Harry, because it felt like from a betting standpoint, a lot of public bettors, maybe people that were heavy, like, you know, you and I, for example, right, on Ohio State, and I'm sure a lot of others, because it was dog happy and dog heavy, really good football throughout. I thought would be pouring on Indianapolis to try to make something back. And Matt Ryan versus Matt Canada is not a way that you want to end the week. I totally get it. But is it really Thanksgiving? We haven't talked since Friday. We had a show on Friday.
Oh, that's right. We did. Yeah, we talked about the teaser that we did.
Yeah. We had a show on Friday.
But we didn't get the college football. Like we said, we lost on Ohio State. And credit to Jim Harbaugh and credit to Jay McCarthy. He was outstanding. I didn't believe in him. I do now. And it's about time they let the kid loose, man. I mean, what have they been waiting for? Were they rope-a-doping the entire betting world the entire season until Ohio State, where they unleashed big plays, or what?
Yeah, I mean,
incredible.
That was a monster game.
Yeah.
And Matt, I'm sure you were locked in on this sucker as well.
Yeah.
But what I couldn't believe was just how out of place Ohio State looked at times.
Yeah.
I was going to say, we finally see, like, we know when Ohio State guys get into the NFL, they're not known to necessarily make a name for themselves. But I feel like we've been seeing that even earlier and earlier as the years go by, how kind of fraudulent their teams can be when it comes down to the big game.
Yeah. Good point.
Well, I mean, they were outclassed on the lines, which is something you don't see very often. I mean, you know, Michigan just controlled that game. They hit every big play. Days 0-2 now in the last two times against Harbaugh. I mean, remember, it wasn't too long ago that people were wanting to run him out of Ann Arbor because he couldn't beat his rivals.
Yeah, I was one of them.
Yeah, I think I said it too.
Yeah, I didn't like looking at him.
I mean, as a number 2 ranked team, you would think like these guys kind of have to win the trenches if they want to stay, you know, a top 5 ranked team. And do you see this loss now kind of dropping them out of at least a top 3?
Well, they're 5th right now, so they're ahead of Alabama. Okay. So that the committee told you last night that Alabama's out. Okay, they're not getting in. If anybody's getting in, it's Ohio State. What's that?
You have to put TCU in.
Oh, yes.
Right? So let's just look at the locks, right? Like, how many spaces are open right now?
Well, they got to beat Kansas State, though. If they lose to Kansas State, I think they're out.
I think so, too. I also don't think they lose to K-State. Sorry, Alex Brooks. But let's look at this, though. There's one spot open, right? That's it.
Well, I mean, USC is going to beat Utah.
Correct.
Michigan's not going to lose to Purdue.
No.
And Georgia, I mean, could they lose to LSU? I don't think so.
Yeah,
I don't think the game could be close. You know, I could see LSU covering the number.
Yeah, 17.5 seems like a lot in that game.
A ridiculous number. Right.
It is.
But I'm with you. Georgia is just getting through this football game. So a 10-point victory, there's no like if you beat LSU by 10 points, there's no letdown going into the playoffs. Oh, man, right? No, it's like you just got to get through this. So, yeah, I mean, I'm with you. Alabama is out.
Yeah.
Absolutely out right now.
Good. I'm sick of them anyway.
That's fine. Yeah.
I'm tired of them. I got Alabama fatigue.
They're like Tom Brady, right? Like you kind of just sick seeing these guys' faces, like Nick Saban. Like I'm over it. Like let's get some new guys in here. That's why I want to see TCU make it so bad.
I'm never sick and tired of seeing Tom Brady. I'm in love with him. I've been in love with him since about 2003.
Well, real quick, I know we've got a lot of other things to talk about here, but I have to just mention this. Bet Online, one of these offshore spots, has odds on who his next girlfriend will be. So while you are in love with Tom Brady,
am I on the list?
You are not on the list, but you never know. Like your odds could be Jennifer Aniston level, right? Like some of these names are outlandish. All right, first off, Taylor Swift is plus 1400 as the odds-on favorite. She's the odds-on favorite.
Just because she dropped an album recently. That's crazy.
Probably, exactly. Adriana Lima, Alessandro Ambrosio.
Who's that?
Kim Kardashian is
way.
plus 2,500.
No
all right,
way.
now I'm going in order of favorite, right? She has the same odds as Jennifer Aniston, Halle Berry, and Lindsey Vonn. Can you imagine Lindsey Vonn?
Wow.
Going from Tiger to Brady?
Wow.
I'm sure there was somebody in between. But
I could see Halle Berry in there.
All right, so what about this one? Bella Hadid. Isn't she a supermodel?
Yes.
That's an interesting one.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, if you really were going to stick it to Giselle, would you go with Charlize Theron or Alyssa Milano? No, you would go with some like Camille Kostek. Isn't she also?
Alyssa Milano and Tom Brady would get in a fist fight over politics on their first date.
Oh, is that right?
Okay, yes.
What about, hold on. What about this move? Mia Khalifa.
Oh, no way.
Is plus 200, is a 200 to 1 long shot. All right.
Wow.
No
Might have to
way.
ask Kenny about that moonshot right there.
Jada Pinkett Smith is 100 to 1.
Oh.
Like leaving Will Smith for Tom Brady.
Wow.
And then
After
the
the
last one,
slap.
you can actually bet this at plus 500,000, or I guess it's plus 50,000, right? Would be a 500 to 1 long shot. You can actually bet Zach Wilson's mom.
Oh, wow.
At 500 to 1. Like, don't you have to put $1 down on that?
Wow, and Zach might be out of the league soon. Who knows?
Yeah.
I mean,
Can you imagine being at that wedding?
It kind of ties together. She's thinking, where is this next check going to come from? Is it going to be Tom? Like, you don't know.
I'm sorry. You said you loved, so I think,
Yep.
you know.
That's a good set. That was a good move by you, Eitan, having that at the ready.
I just
I
saw
like
it.
that.
I just saw it.
All right, some of these college games, Utah against USC. I love USC in this game. In fact, I could take them straight at -3, and I could also tease them to +3.
You love going through zero.
I do. It worked last weekend too. For me with Washington, and I'm going to do it again.
I don't have the time. I have the energy. Don't get me wrong. I don't physically, like, there's a difference because a lot of people say, I don't have the time, meaning they don't have the energy.
Right.
I have the energy to sit with you for days about this. I just don't physically have the time on it. All right. So let's look at this here. You're looking at, we're looking at this at 3 right now.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Favored by 3. Lost to
2.5
them earlier in the season.
2.5 on FanDuel.
Neutral site. It's in Las Vegas.
Yeah, I'll take the 2.5 on FanDuel.
Okay.
Absolutely. Money line.
78% of bets coming in on that -3, by the way. I don't know if that's going to sway you, but
no.
Well, here's the thing. I'm going to get, even if that's true, I'm going to get in. And look, 3 is not, 2 is basically what 3 is in the college game because of OT and the fact that teams don't like to kick. But with that said, I'm going to get in at 2.5 with even if that does move it, what's it going to go from 3 to 3.5 everywhere else? So I'll get in at 2.5 and it'll probably go to 3 at that book.
Right.
-150, you said, right on the money line?
I didn't say the money line.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you said the money line.
No, I didn't. That sounds about right, though.
Look, I think you can make an argument. Like, why not put 1.5 units to win 1 for them on the money line, and then bet a typical 1.1 to win 1 on the spread, right? Like, I'm with you. This is 2 times over for me. I think you made the point, Harry, that this is just, it's a little bit wider anyway. I don't like Utah to hang in this game. I can't imagine that there's much history or trend or any data that would support an upset here. outside of just maybe, USC's coach letting down, but I don't see that either. So
maybe some of the kids get loose on Las Vegas Strip, the night before the game. They have some suspensions. That's the only thing I could think of. But if they're at 2.5, take them to plus 3.5, and then take UNC up to 13.5 in your teaser. I like the Tar Heels too.
Is this a 13.5 point teaser here?
Yeah. No, 6 points.
Oh, 6.
But take them from plus 7.5 to plus 13.5 against Clemson.
Interesting. I'm just still looking at these Utah defensive rankings, and I just love everything about USC. Not only covering, but maybe even hitting their team total of over as well. Looking, they're in the back percentile of points per game allowed, total yards allowed, passing yards and rushing yards allowed. So it just seems like USC is going to come through and roll them. So I'm even thinking of just making a nice little bundle on some USC spread, hitting their team over, and then, something along those lines.
Yeah, it's a good call on the team total. Is that on DK?
I believe I have it on FanDuel right now.
Yeah, it's going to be one of those two.
Yeah.
Probably up right. Well, it's Friday, Wednesday.
Yeah,
so other books may catch on that. Look, I think there are a bunch of ways to play this. Absolutely. Again, back to the 150. A lot of people, for whatever reason, don't like a number higher than 120, 125. I have no problem. This is a fine bet at minus 150. But you can clearly parlay this too. If you like anything else that we're talking about, then just take that 150 and use it as a parlay piece.
And that previous game, the USC's only loss was at Utah on campus by 43-42, a 1-point loss, and they still put up 6 touchdowns. To your point, Matt.
Yeah, they average 42.5 points per game, and
this quarterback is on a roll, man. I'm telling you, he's a super stud.
Yeah, Utah's
Addison,
defense,
the wide receiver.
Yeah, they have it rolling every place. So 34.5 for their team total, averaging 42.5.
I like that.
I'll take that for minus 120.
I like that. All right, so we move on to the pros.
Yeah, I'm just seeing. We don't have anything else this week. Friday night. Is there
Thursday night football? That's a
well, we do. Before we hit the pros, though, I just
Friday night's USC.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, so that's when they play.
Saturday was Saturday. You mentioned K-State, TCU, right?
Yeah, that's a nooner.
I don't have a ton of interest on that. I mean, my God, I know I'm going to get bid on this. I absolutely know I'm going to get bid on this, but I'm really tempted to go, if not under the game total at 63.5, under the first half total at Clemson and UNC. I just think there's going to be some feeling. I don't see. Look, DJ is in trouble, cuz. All right,
like that. I totally agree.
And defensively, look, they remind me a lot of. This is crazy, but they remind me a lot of the Warriors and to a lesser extent the Clippers, to where no matter what's going wrong on offense, you can rely on your team defensively to kind of keep you level-headed, kind of keep you in stuff. And I just think they can do that with UNC. So that was the only one look ahead wise that I had my eye on, that I'm just going back and forth. It's going to be one or the other, either, and I'll let you know on Friday. It's either going to be under 63.5 on the game total or under the first half total.
Okay.
That's all.
Well, I watched a good bit of that game on Saturday when they lost at home to South Carolina.
Oh my God, yeah.
How about the last couple of weeks for Shane Beamer and Spencer Rattler? They whipped up on Tennessee, ruined their season, and then they go into Clemson and beat the Tigers.
It's insanity.
Incredible.
It really, it's fun to watch too.
It was.
On the other side of that.
Yeah. Now that Notre Dame game, before we get to the pros, Notre Dame USC, I was on Notre Dame plus 5.5. I also teased them. It went down to 4.5, so I ran them up to 10.5. And this dope of a coach, Marcus Freeman, goes for 2 when it only would have gotten him to 9 points at the end, towards the end of the game. Why do you go for 2 there? He missed it. They lose by 11. I lose the teaser.
He had money on it.
Yes.
That's the only, honestly.
You think so?
Well, here's the thing. There are certain things, dude, I'm telling you, and I'm not going to hijack this conversation by any means, but I want you to see, because I tweeted or texted this in a Slack the other day, where I had a basketball game where there was a coach down 19 or something with 48 seconds left, and he was fouling. He was fouling.
Yeah.
Right? And that's what I'm saying. I get it. This stuff isn't fixed. Maybe it is. I don't know. But there's certain stuff like what you're saying that just does not make any type of sport strategic sense. And you're left with is this shit fixed?
Right.
Like,
Did
you're
he
just
know
left
that
with it.
some big fat cat alumni checked writer, was on him? You know what I mean? So he's trying to get to 9 or what? I don't know. It was just craziness, absolute craziness.
Oh man. So real quick, I don't remember. We should talk about this because I believe we were on this and we looked at spread on this, and my God, again, I'm so thankful that I don't physically have a ticket anymore because I would not have physically been able to
torn it up
in Oregon State.
Right.
Just would not have been able
How
to
about that game? That was crazy.
Freaking believable.
Yes.
That game. Amazing to see that. And then
and Tulane money line too. Remember
Tulane
that?
was beautiful.
Yeah.
Absolutely. That comes through. Temple with a glorious cover at plus 10.
Should have won the game.
Well, and I was so tempted to take them.
Well, why is the coach punt? He punted the ball away with that's just the quarterback was having the game of his life.
No idea.
For over 500 yards.
It was a late addition for me, but Texas Tech, the money line and the 2.5.
Against Oklahoma, boy, they stink.
But think about what I was watching. Oklahoma was up 1,000,000-0, right? Like 6 seconds into that game. So, all right, let's get to football.
All right, let's get to the pros. Thursday night football. Tomorrow night, we've got New England hosting Buffalo. Buffalo came in as a 5-point favorite. It's now down to 4.5?
Yeah.
In most places. Now, New England has to win this game. They're 6-5. If they can entertain any hopes of a playoff, they really have to win this game. The last time these two teams played, I don't know if we remember this, but it was last year in the playoffs in Buffalo. And the Buffalo Bills kicked the living shit out of Belichick and the Patriots, 47-17. Josh Allen could do anything he wanted, threw for over 300 yards, 5 touchdowns. He ran for 66 more. They were up 27-3 at the half and were clicking at 9.1 yards per play in that game. Now, if you think that Bill Belichick hasn't stayed up till 3 a.m. since that game, just waiting for the next time that he gets Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills, this is it. I'm taking the Patriots plus the points.
Wow. It's short week.
There's a lot. Buffalo's been on the road for 3 weeks. They've been in Detroit for 2 weeks.
Yeah, okay. I get it, but here would be my counter to that. They've been in Detroit for 2. It's not like they've been stuck at Madison Square Garden, right? So they've been stuck in Detroit, man. Like, unless you know somebody in Auburn Hills or outside, like you can go spend and eat and eat like food.
They called Alfie from Abington, the big Detroit Lions fan. He took him out to the gentlemen's clubs.
I don't know. You're right. Like, they've been on the road. And they're out of their element here. I'm not going against you by any means. It's just the short week here throws such a big wrench.
Mac Jones has been playing great these last couple of weeks.
Win
or lose, he's been good.
It's been odd.
4 points.
Nah, I like it, and I love Ramondre Stevenson too. I was saying to Harry even before we went live, Ramondre Stevenson has been an absolute monster.
Well, how about
probably
the parlay?
Most consistent. So I was looking at that one to bring it up, and that same one is actually moved down now to 450. So last night I was able to hop in Ramondre Stevenson anytimer and New England money line when they were plus 166, and that totaled for a plus 950. And today, if you want that same value, you got to take him for 2 touchdowns now instead of just the 1.
Well,
so I'm kind of confident in it. I kind of like it. 2 touchdowns for Ramondre and New England money line plus 900. I don't know. There's something about it. Something about it. Like you're saying, I don't think in Gillette, like that's a tough game.
Yeah,
I know the Bears came in earlier this season and won in Gillette, but like that feels just like an anomaly to what we've seen the past few weeks with the Patriots being home.
All right, so let's look at this here because if you're going to build this game, by the way, real quick, what was that parlay off each leg?
Ramondre Stevenson.
Stevenson touchdown and then money line for New England.
Is what?
That was last night. It was plus 950.
What?
Last night because
not anymore.
His line, no, not anymore. It changed since the spread has changed, but. That the anytime touchdown plus money line.
So the money line's 170. That makes a little more sense. But what's his anytime TD?
it went from plus 115 last night to now minus 115.
Okay. I'm shocked that it opened at plus. All right, so let's look at this here because I don't agree. Or no. That's not fair. I'm not as confident as both of you in the spread here. All right. That doesn't mean that the Patriots won't win. I would lean +4 in this scenario anyway. So I'm not going to physically bet it, but I'm not against you by any means. But it's hard for me to think this game goes over 43.5 and the Patriots are in it, right?
Yeah. I like the under too.
Yeah, I'm with you. And I think there's probably going to be a trend or two about Josh Allen struggling against Belichick, this defense. Like that's the beauty of Belichick. He's coached so many guys and has been around, and he's got a book on pretty much everybody. So I think for me, where I see this is a underplay, 43.5. And, now I want to start targeting team total for Buffalo going under. And I want to start targeting like the first half total going under.
Okay.
So that's where I think the target for me would be in this game.
Bills total points right now sitting at 23.5. It's a very,
yeah, again, like I think them getting to 24 makes it incredibly difficult for the Patriots to cover this spread.
Yeah, I get it. And
21, again, if the Patriots get 20, okay, let me say it this way, Matt. I think there's a better chance the Patriots hit 30 points than they do 18 points in this game.
Yeah. No, I agree. I mean, we're seeing the secondary.
It's be a volatile situation.
Yep. The Bills secondary is so beat up. I mean, they have guys out for the entire year. I think 3 or 4 secondary pieces of their secondary. And we're kind of seeing now late in games, Josh Allen, everybody put him kind of 1A, 1B with Pat Mahomes. But late in games, he is not Pat Mahomes. Like, it's pretty evident the past few weeks. Like, he's not the same guy that's going to run down the field in 13 seconds. So I agree. Bill Belichick, I think, is getting some angles on him. And I think we're going to see this week, once again, that the Bills are human and they bleed too. So,
yeah. Remember after week 3, they were the Super Bowl champs?
Yeah. I mean, they were the most bet on team to win the Super Bowl going into this season. So, I don't know.
I mean, they're 8-3, right?
Mm-hmm.
Buffalo.
Yeah.
Yep.
Currently not in first place in their division. Technically, Miami right now is the division leader, and Buffalo's a wild card. So if they want to entertain any kind of ideas of hosting the playoffs, they can't lose anymore.
Right. They can't.
No.
Essentially.
It's a big game for them, too. I'm saying, this is my point. Yeah. We know New England needs the game, but Buffalo technically needs it, too.
No, I agree. I think there's a lot here that kind of goes back and forth and conflicts. The one play I did lock in for this game, which has been paying out, and hopefully you've been paying attention to this because especially more often than not, again, we went 4 of 5 this weekend on it, but 1+ field goal for each team in the first half. It's only I can only find this on BetMGM, and from my exploratory whatever, just me trying to find it's not even at every state. So a lot of states that have BetMGM don't have this. We seem to have it. I honestly think, and I'm going to say this because I don't know, but I think we found like a disgruntled employee over there that is just putting up this bet that they know is going to hit, and it's at plus money every time. So
is it capped?
No, I mean, it's capped in the sense of like what a prop it would have, like a game prop would have. So they're probably going to cap you at some point to it, but it's not capped like you can only bet, $25 on it or something like that. Mm-hmm. You can put, we're putting full unit bets on this, like $100 a unit bets on this. So it's paying out exponentially. This is a perfect opportunity for New England, who again, and I'm going to go off what you're saying from a narrative, from a stat standpoint. You've got a kicker in Bass, who clearly Buffalo trusts. New England has to kick. Like, they have no choice. They cannot leave points on the field in this game, Harry, to what you were saying about they need this football game more than Buffalo needs this game, but they still need it over there on the other side. So this is where you get tight game. Again, wind may impact.
It's a windy building.
Right. Yeah. But as long as it's not 20 miles per hour wind, it shouldn't impact the kick. It might impact the passing. but it won't impact the kicking. I think that's last thing on this. That's a big misnomer, I think, about wind, where you can have 12-mile-per-hour winds in your face. That's not going to impact the kick as much as it will impact the passing game. And some of it may just be placebo in a coach's mind.
It would force me to take an extra club, though.
Well, maybe
if I'm going into that 12-mile-an-hour wind.
2 clubs for me.
All right. Anything else on football? Because we will convene on Friday if we want to hold off on some of the other stuff. But if not, I mean, I looked at the Tennessee Titans at +6. It's now down to 5.5.
Wow.
I said a couple of weeks ago, this is a team that can come in and beat the Eagles.
I immediately got so apparently this was at 7.
Oh,
I don't know if either one of you saw this.
No, I didn't.
I looked up and it was at 6.5 on the 25th. And because I got in a look ahead with the expectation that the Eagles would handle their business. And
it would go up.
Titans, exactly. And forget the Titans game against the Bengals. It was more just the Eagles would handle their business and the line would go up and it or drop, right? And it has. So with that expectation, because of the matchup and everything there, all good. That, though, I'm with you. I don't know what the drop dead line is for you guys, but I probably wouldn't go below 6 at this point. Did you get in at 6?
6.
Yeah.
It's 5.5 now on DraftKings. Yeah.
I don't know.
75% of the money on that +5.5. So that part's scaring me a little bit. But then again, like Derrick Henry, I think is just going to have an absolute day. I mean, we saw Jonathan Taylor come in and run all over the place. Aaron Jones and A.J. Dillon had their game last week. So I don't see why it's going to be any different. Mike Vrabel loves to just run him up the middle until he can't stand it anymore. So I think that's what we're going to see this weekend.
So here's the interesting part about that, right? About the money percentage and where the public money comes in from different spots at all. And who is on that public, right? Like, is it the Philly Godfather or is it, John's Godfather, right? Who doesn't know what the hell he's doing? I think to look at this, it opens at 7, right? So you have a dog at 7 that moves through that line to 6.5. Immediately, to me, that's a sharp play. That's somebody who recognizes they're getting a dog and the book is reacting, saying, we have to move it through 7 because we're getting sharp money that comes in on the Titans. 6.5, I still think, okay, you start to see, though, sharp people jump off because they've already seen this line move. 6, and that's what I'm saying is the cutoff. Taking it at 5.5 after this has now moved a 1.5 points against you. Like, Harry, say that out loud. The Philly Godfather just took a bet that moved against him 1.5 points. Like, it's hard for me to think that sharp money is still pouring in.
Just tease it.
Yeah, you could tease it. That's fine. Yeah. But I mean, like, at this point, 5.5, you are taking the worst of this game. That's all I'm saying.
No doubt about it. Absolutely.
Look, the other one, too, that I jumped in just real quick before we get out of here was same day, Seattle. This line opened at 3.5, and I jumped on that at 3.5.
Wow.
Last I checked, it was 7.5.
Yeah, it's 7.5 right now. Wow, that's crazy.
Dude, I may cash out for a half a unit.
Wow.
Yeah, before the game even starts.
Seriously.
Wow, that's how you win off the field.
Now, Harry, do you want the 5-team mega teaser now, or do you want me to wait for that on Friday?
Let's hold that one off until Friday.
Okay.
Says that's a great tease. Let's tease with the teaser until Friday. All right. Everybody enjoy Thursday night football. We got World Cup going on right now. The United States advanced barely, but they advanced. Pulisic took it right in the nuts. And I'll tell you, that was a heck of a goal. But anyway, there'll be more World Cup and all that kind of stuff between now and Friday, but we'll be back on Friday.